Here's the reality of the situation. Bad leaders use their power to manipulate and control people. Average leaders use their power as a crutch, and good leaders know that great leadership is not about power at all. It's actually about influence. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can be a better leader right now. When we think about leadership, there's always this struggle that goes on, and it's the difference between influence and power. Now, as a leader, especially as a new leader, you usually think about the power side of things. You think about control. You think about command. Here's a good one. You think about making people do stuff. I was guilty of this last one. I thought, I'm going to make my team better salespeople. I'm going to make them better closers. I'm going to make them better questions answers. I'm going to make them more productive. Here's the reality of the situation. You can't make anybody do anything. The only reason why they're going to ever do it is because they want to. When we think about motivation, motivation isn't about making somebody do anything. In fact, you can't externally motivate someone. And I know some of you are watching this and you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean I can't externally motivate them? I get them hyped up in the morning. We have our coffee and we have our closers meetings, and then we incentivize them, and we all of those things are external touches, but it has to reach the inside, right? It's like you're throwing fishing lines out the water, right? Throwing the fishing line is not what's going to catch you the fish, although it may be a necessary component. If the fish want to bite it, they're going to bite it. It's the same with your team. You can have ping pong tables. You can have all of these cool company culture moments, but if it doesn't hit them on the inside, it's not really going to matter. And that's where it comes to leadership. Leadership is not about controlling people. It's about compelling people. How can I appeal to you in a way that gets you excited about going to do the work? Not just because I told you to, not because I'm hanging your job and your life in the balance over your head, but because you actually want to do it. And that's really difficult to gain, especially for new leaders. You're thinking it's my job to make them do it. It's not your job to make them do it. It's your job to compel them. It's your job to create an atmosphere or an environment that would make them want to. Your job is actually to help cultivate great performance. When you're cultivating something, just like you would cultivate a plant, you set the environment. You make sure all the correct elements exist for this plant to grow, right? It needs the proper sunlight, it needs proper water, it needs nutrients, right? If there's not enough humidity in the air, you may need to grab a spray bottle and spritz it every now and then. You can tell, like, I got plants, right? But this is what you're doing as a leader. You're cultivating an environment. It's really about influence. Now, when it comes to leadership, there's this battle between influence and power. I'm not saying that you should never use your power, never use your authority, but it's not necessary for leadership. If you became a leader today, but your title didn't change, they didn't give you a special office, they didn't give you a special hat or a special shirt, would you still be able to lead? Now, some of you are saying yes, but some of you are saying no. And here's why you're saying no. I've gotten calls from people before and saying, hey, I can't lead my team properly because I don't have the ability to write them up. I can't lead my team properly because we're on a hiring freeze, so I can't fire anybody. And what I'm letting them know is that is like the last resort of leadership. If we've gotten to the point where we need to write somebody up or fire somebody, that means we've used all of the influence. We've worked it from every single angle and nothing seems to be working. Now we have to go down this path. But it should not be your first step. What average leaders usually do is they'll try to start with leadership. They'll try to start with influence. But the second it doesn't work, boom, they bring down the hammer with the power. They say, hey, could you do this for me? And you're like, I don't really want to. And they're like, boom, it's like whack-a-mole. Like soon as a problem pops up, they just start whacking at it. And that's not the essence of true leadership. If you want to be a better leader, you have to ask yourself different questions. You have to ask yourself questions that lead to a higher level of accountability. When your team's not doing what you think they should do or what you need them to do or want them to do, the question you should ask yourself is, what is it about my leadership that's not compelling them to get this done? What it is about my leadership that's not cultivating an environment where they want to do this instead of me having to ask them how to do it over and over and over again. So when we think about this balance of influence and power, it's okay to utilize your power, but it should not be your first foot forward. And it should not be used as a crutch when your influence doesn't work out immediately. It should be a challenge to you to continue to develop your influence. And when it's time, when it's necessary, when it's needed, that's when you go to your power. But I think if leaders got better at this influence piece, it would make them a better leader, their teams more productive, and them more effective as leaders. And that's why we created this Gallo growth framework. This Gallo growth framework is how we generate and ignite growth within an individual, within a team, within a department, within an organization. There needs to have these three points here in order for growth to happen, right? There has to be connection, there has to be capability, and there has to be capacity. There's a video that I've done on this already, so I won't go through all three of these, but I want to focus on connection because connection is actually where we generate more motivation, right? Remember I said motivation is an internal thing, and we need to be able to do that in order for our teams to feel like doing the work, in order for them to really go and be productive. Leaders have to be really good at connection. When you build or cultivate connection, it has to happen on three levels. Number one, people have to be connected to the work that they do. This means that the reason why they get up and come to work every day has to be personally meaningful for them. Now, I'm not talking about purpose, right? Like I was put on this earth to come here and stack boxes. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe it is, right? That's cool. But it has to matter to them personally. And everybody has this. Sometimes they're not thinking about it. Sometimes you have to have a couple of conversations with them to really bubble it up to the surface. But it has to be personally meaningful for them. Maybe they really need this job because they're in a ton of debt up to their eyeballs and they can't sleep at night and it's causing them anxiety. And they feel like this is the tool that's going to help them dig out of the hole that they're in. That's personally meaningful. Maybe they're a third generation paramedic, right? Their dad was, and then his dad was, and now they're in this line and they want to do a really good job because it's a legacy thing for them. That's cool. That's personal meaning. Maybe you are scared because you just got a diagnosis and you really need really good health care. And that's the reason why you're here. All of these things are internal things, right? It's not a pizza party is not going to bring that out. A gift card is not going to bring that out. It's really about why it matters to them. And so if you're leading a group of people and you don't know why the work matters to them, if you're not having these conversations about what drives you to work every day, what makes this job personally meaningful for you, you're going to really struggle to motivate them. Here's the second thing. They have to have a connection to the work. They also have to have the connection to the results. Imagine this for a second. Imagine you're a basketball player. I'm a big basketball fan. I used to be a basketball player. You live in Indiana, you got to play basketball. Imagine you're a basketball player and you go, like you make this crazy move past two defenders. You lay the ball up, it goes in, you high five your team, but the scoreboard doesn't change. So you look at it, you kind of brush it off. You're like, okay, whatever. You go back on defense, you get a steal. Fast break, you dunk the ball. I'm talking about like Michael Jeffrey Jordan from the free throw line, 1988, like dunk the basketball. And like you look over at your coach, nobody's cheering. The scoreboard still doesn't change. What would you do? You'd probably call a timeout and say, wait a minute, coach. Scoreboard doesn't change. I just scored 2 times in a row. The scoreboard didn't change. Imagine he just pats you on the butt and says, don't worry about it. Keep working hard. The frustration that you'd feel, the deflation that you'd feel. Like imagine how much harder you're going to play the next play knowing that the score is not going to matter. You're probably not going to play that hard. It's like, all right, well, let them score then. Let stuff happen. That's how people feel when they're working. They don't feel like their job is connected to the results. You start to hear things like, I'm just a cog in the wheel. Or, man, if I left today, nobody would notice. Or, if I left on Friday, they'd have me replaced by Saturday morning. You hear those types of things. People aren't just complaining. They're signaling to you, hey, I don't feel like my work here matters. I don't feel like it's connected to any results. And so if you're not explicitly saying to your team, don't expect them to connect these dots by themselves. If you're not explicitly saying to your team, here's how your projects, your tasks, your behavior align to real results for the company, they're not going to be motivated to continue to do the work. And here's the last one. If you want to be a better leader, you have to make sure that you build connection to the people that they're around. I know that if you scroll on TikTok for 2 seconds, you're going to hear things like, don't be friends at work because those people aren't your friends. You're going to hear things like, don't try to make friends. Don't go to the party. Don't hang out with those people. Those people are against you. Just get your money and go home. Yeah. What you don't hear a lot about is, hey, I met my husband at my job and now we've been married for 20 years. Hey, I met my best friend at my job. We just went on our 3rd vacation together. Hey, these people that I met on my job, they've actually been so good to me that I've made more money every year since I've started here. Hey, these people on my job, they actually helped me start my business. In fact, Gallo wouldn't exist today if it weren't for some key people that I work with that I knew well enough and they knew me well enough to be able to have personal relationships with each other. We were created for relationships, and you're going to work better, longer, and harder and be more productive and more fulfilled if you actually like the people that you work with. Imagine this for a second. Just imagine it. I know it's crazy. Imagine you went to work and you actually had friends there that you liked. Now, I'm not saying they got to be your best friend. I'm not saying that you got to have them over to your house for beer and wine every Friday, right? Or you got to go to the ball game every Sunday or every Saturday with them. But imagine you actually liked them. Imagine that you knew that they were going to have your back and you could have their back when you went out and did work together. Like, imagine you lived in that type of atmosphere. Would you enjoy work more? Yes or yes? I think the answer is yes. Would you work harder? Yes or yes? The answer is yes. Would you be more productive? Yes or yes? Yes. Would you stay at that place longer? Yes or yes? Yes. Would you actually probably get paid more because now you're better at your job? Yes. So I'm sick of the crap of like, those people that you're friend, they're not your friend, all of that, whatever. Like, we need that connection. We need those relationships. And so at a minimum, people need to be connected to the people that they do work with. They need to know that there are other people that they work around that are counting on them to do a good job. That connection to people, when we do team building events, when we do giving events in the community, when we do culture events, it's all to cultivate this connection to other people, because people perform better when they're around people that they have things in common with, that they like, that they enjoy being around. So if you start to implement some of these things that will make you a better leader today, here's an action item for you. Sit down with your team one by one, sit down with your department leaders and have them sit down with their teams and ask them, what makes this work personally meaningful for you? If we can start that conversation, we can get people's true motivation. And I don't want to hear some corporate speak. I don't want to hear people recite the core values. I want to know for them what makes it personally meaningful for you. If you do that, already you're on a path to becoming a better leader. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you like the video and subscribe. And YouTube says you're going to like this video next. So I'll see you in the next video.